Guys, well, check out what I get to bring to you today. This is a 2016 Honda Rebel 250. It's my understanding this is the last year of the OG Rebel 250, and well, that's a shame because for so many thousands of folks that were taking their motorcycle safety classes through the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, this would have been the bike that you were riding on. So many people got their first taste of motorcycles on this machine, and to this day, it still does remain fairly well loved by those that own them. So what exactly are we working with? Well, it's a parallel twin 250cc engine, air-cooled, making horsepower. They say somewhere between 15 and 17, but does it really matter? The other thing too is when you walk up on this motorcycle, you may notice pretty quickly that it's about an 8/10 sized bike. Seat height is very low, practically knee high for some taller riders, and because of its smaller stature, it's very easy to manage, very lightweight. So what is it like in the cockpit? Well, pretty basic and pretty sparse. It's carbureted, so we do have a choke for cold starts, high beam indicator, turn indicator, neutral indicator, and a speedometer. No tach, because, well, let's be honest, once it starts laying over, if you're wide open, just keep shifting. It's got a 5-speed gearbox. And it fires right up, guys. I mean, it is as agricultural as you could possibly imagine. Very simple machine. Revs it up, sounds pretty good. Let's get her underway, see what she's like to ride, and bonus feature, we'll see how fast this thing goes too. So let's get her going. We are on a Honda Rebel 250 in its natural environment in a parking lot. And look, here's a kind of a window. I don't know if this is going to show through, kind of get a scope of size on this bike. It would almost be easier if I was sitting on the passenger seat. That's how tucked up you are. But anyway, I don't want to make it sound like I'm making fun of this bike. For a lot of folks, even to this day, they love these things. And even though they're out of production, they're still pretty easy to find for sale on the internet, as so many dads and uncles have bought these to teach their nieces, nephews, sons, and daughters how to ride a motorcycle. So let's get a little bit more acquainted with it as we try to blend in with traffic. So the speedometer goes to 85 miles an hour. I doubt very seriously we're going to get near that. But I gotta say, as far as power goes, or acceleration, or just how this bike feels to get around on, you know, if you think of it in terms of being more of a scooter maybe than anything else, that might give you an idea for where this motorcycle would excel. I mean, I gotta admit, I will ride this bike back and forth to the shop, and it's not a very long drive, ride, walk even. But the funny thing about it is I cannot remember the last time I put gas in this bike. So from an economy point of view, I mean, if you're just buzzing the thing in and around the neighborhood, in and around town, and basically kind of just running errands with it, pretty economical conveyance. But I wouldn't necessarily take it on a highway, although as I'm going to show you guys, it will maintain the lower side of highway speeds, I suppose. Ooh, 25 miles per hour. All right. There we go. Come on, Rebel. Ah! All right, so we made it to 55. I'm gonna sneak in here and cheat behind this truck here. So, if you can find a friendly truck to draft, miles an hour is actually kind of comfortable. And I'll even take it so far as to say it's not unstable at speeds, at least on the lower tier of the highway speed range. Although I wouldn't want to be on there for too long. It'll at least get you over an overpass. How about that? Definitely not what I would call fast. All right, coming off of that bridge. We've got her pinned, boys. Oh, we're really flying now. So, indicated, will she do 70? Oh, can we eke it out of her? Just barely. So yeah, I suppose if you are as committed as you could possibly be, you could carry that type of a speed for some distance. But to be honest with you guys, 55-ish miles per hour, this bike is extremely happy. Does not feel overstressed at all. Stable. You know, I wouldn't call this bike flickable, even though it's very lightweight. I certainly wouldn't say that it handles well. But if all you need to do is get from point A to point B, and you're not going to be spending a lot of time on the highway, and you want to spend the least amount of money possible, you could kind of get away with this a little bit. We're going to try that again. We really want to see 75 miles per hour. There's no way it's going to do 80. Will the Rebel 250 be able to deliver? Doubtful. But that's what we are here for. We are here for the science of speed. One thing you do have to do is be mindful of the fact that you can't jump out in front of anybody. But here we go. Come on, Rebel 250, you got it. We are wide open. We are pinned. The sensation of speed is overwhelming. The exhilaration is taking over my consciousness right now. Up into top gear, flat out, pinned. 65 miles per hour flies by in a flash. All X number of horsepower is working in unison. Crescendo of flat out power. Speed, anger, frothing at the mouth. The Rebel, she is rabid in her intent to find 75 miles per hour. Will she see it? Will she find it? Will she overcome? Can this machine make it? No, it cannot. We lost the draft of the truck. Oh, well. Valiant effort. But without a draft, at my weight of roughly 200 pounds and my height being just shy of 6 feet tall, I am far too much of an impedance. It is not the fault of the motorcycle, but the pilot of the machine that disallowed this bike to reach that 75 mile per hour speed. But back down here at more sane velocities, the Rebel 250 happy again to just deliver as a simple conveyance from point A to point B. And I gotta say, it is at 55 miles an hour extremely compliant, as you would expect with the suspension. These expansion joints on the bridge not giving it any issues whatsoever. It's not jittery, not juddery at all. It's a fun little thing to ride. You cannot have any semblance of an ego riding this motorcycle. Taken for what it is, guys, this thing is kind of a fun little machine to ride. And again, flat out, she's not going to set any speed records, but it is kind of fun to get her just on the BNC roads and let her putt around. And given the fact that this thing just barely sips on fuel, but if you are a budding rider, you're needing a bike that has, you know, a little bit of panache about it. If you think about it, I mean, it is the quintessential trainer from back in the day. Something simple, something very inexpensive. You know, I was saying that this bike is out of production, but they made it for so many years, and it's fairly easy to find these motorcycles online for sale. Usually they'll go for around $1,500 to $2,500 for a really nice version. Don't expect to see one without any scratches or dents or blemishes or anything like that. Usually these bikes are bought. Their sole intended purpose at that point is to train somebody how to ride, and then they're sold on to the next student, if you will. But there are folks that love riding this bike. They buy them, they keep them, they end up falling in love with them as a little in-town scooter, if you will, just a way to get around town for very inexpensively and reliably. And a lot of folks that do buy these bikes, that maybe they didn't learn on them, or maybe they did, but whichever way they came across this bike, they end up not wanting to get rid of them. And you'll see quite a few of them modified in pretty cool ways. You'll see little, you know, cafe racer styles, and sometimes people will do off-road builds with them. But either way, it's a fun little bike. And as long as you're not planning on running any more than, say, 55 or 60 miles an hour, it'll do it. It'll definitely do it. But I just don't know that I would want to spend a whole lot of time cramped up like this. I got to be honest. I mean, right now I'm sitting on the passenger seat. It almost feels a bit more natural to sit back up here than it does down here. But I will say this, look, tons of folks of all shapes and sizes have learned how to ride on this motorcycle and have enjoyed it and loved it over the years. Very easy to make your own, but you just can't beat the OG trainer bike from back in the day. It's just fun to ride. But at that point, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. What's your experience with the Honda Rebel 250? Did you learn on one of these bikes? Did you take an MSF class back in the day on one of these? I'd love to hear about your experience. And with that, we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys.